Guo Zuo came back home. The sun was particularly hot at noon on Sunday, and Yumi decided to expose the cotton-padded clothes at home. The cotton-padded clothes have gone through the rainy season in the closet. To prevent mildew, discerning people still have to let the moisture out under the summer sun. Yu Xiu rummaged through boxes and cupboards. The clothes were hanging all over the patio, colorful, and the whole patio smelled of mothballs. Yumi used to like the smell of camphor, but this year there was something special about it, and she couldn't smell it anymore. Yumi thought it seemed like it was because of the pregnancy. All the smells were wrong and weird. Yumi sat in the main room, put her hand on her belly, and felt a little pity for herself in her heart. She was very satisfied and felt like a final victory. It seems like Yumi had lost love. The next thing is how to activate Guo Jiaxing and how to arrange Yu Xiu. Yumi sat on Guo Jiaxing's rattan chair all afternoon, half asleep, shaking the banana fan, squinting, and vaguely looking at the clothes in the courtyard. Yumi later closed her eyes and the fan fell on the floor tiles. Yu Xiu quickly came up and fanned Yumi for a while. Yumi took a nap for a few minutes, then woke up again, thinking that even though her life was not good, it had a pretty appearance. Then just be pregnant quietly, with nothing to do besides idle. Yu Xiu kept coming under the scorching sun. The sunlight was dazzling, fierce, and shining. Yu Xiu narrowed her eyes, looking for here and there. Her movements were quite brisk. Standing in a pile of clothes, she felt a kind of thick warmth. Yu Xiu could feel the strong smell of camphor, which was hot under the sun and filled the air. Yu Xiu sniffed the smell of camphor vigorously, feeling an indescribable good mood. In fact, Yu Xiu's good mood was not entirely due to the smell of camphor. Finally, it was because of something else. Over the years, Yu Xiu has been competing with Yumi, but after kneeling to Yumi, Yu Xiu really became at ease, more at ease, and became a different kind of happiness, a different kind of joy. At ease is actually addictive. Once you get used to it, you will be very willing. The taste is getting better and better. Of course, Guo Qiaoqiao's absence at home is also a very important reason. If Guo Qiaoqiao doesn't come back, things at home will be simpler after all. Yu Xiu thought that Guo Qiaoqiao might not be able to come back for a while. With her temper, she might not come back until the issue of going down to the countryside was over. Even if she comes back, the day will not be far before she goes to the textile factory. Thinking of this, Yu Xiu felt helpful about the days to come and started humming a tune. It was an episode from a movie, and it also had the beautiful singing voice of white opera. At about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the patio gate suddenly sounded. The gate was originally open. As Yumi told Yu Xiu, there were so many clothes, such high-end materials including popclean, khaki, and velveteen, as well as so much wool. It would be inappropriate if seen by the authorities. It's better to close the door, bolt it, and make a fortune in silence. Although the clothes on the patio were all left by Guo Jiaxing's deceased wife, they are now of course Yumi's. This is a must. Even if Yumi doesn't wear them, taking them to one village, change the size, and it can be a new one for each of the sisters. It's still a place to go. When worn by the sisters, of course, it is Yumi that shows her face. After all, they still enjoy the blessing of Yumi. The patio gate sounded. Yu Xiu walked up and opened the latch, but there was a strange young man standing at the door. There was also an artificial leather bag on the steps with the cursive Shanghai printed. The young man is very handsome, with a very cultured air. His shirt is tucked into his belt, and there's a pen in his pocket. Neatly dressed, there's a rare sense of energy under the hot sun. Yu Xiu looked at him carefully for a long time, and the young man also looked at Yu Xiu carefully for a long time. Yu Xiu suddenly shouted, "Sister, Guo Zuo is back!" Yu Xiu helped Guo Zuo carry back his bag. A tall young man had already come under the eaves and stood in front of Yumi. Yumi looked at Guo Jiaxing's eldest son and didn't know how to speak for a moment. She was like, "Aya!" took a step down, and "Aya" again. Guo Zuo smiled and said, "Are you Yumi?" Guo Zuo looked about the same age as Yumi. Yumi was a little embarrassed for a moment, but she didn't expect Guo Zuo to be so natural, so she immediately picked up the banana fan and fanned Guo Zuo a few times. At this time, Yu Xiu had already brought the wash basin over. Yumi quickly picked up the towel from the water, twisted it into a handful, and said to Guo Zuo, "Wipe the sweat, wipe the sweat." Guo Zuo directly called Yumi Yumi, and Yumi was quite satisfied with this call. By calling her this way, he avoided a lot of embarrassment and gained a different kind of affinity, making it easier to get along. Guo Zuo looks a year or two older than Yumi. Although they are mother and son in name, after all, they are still the same generation. Yumi likes it. Yumi certainly had a good impression of Guo Zuo. Yumi thought man and man after all. In comparison, Guo Qiao, this girl is a psychopath. It's a dishonest person. Guo Zuo is so good. After Guo Zuo finished wiping, he looked refreshed. Guo Zuo sat in his father's wicker chair, picked up his father's cigarette, lit one, and took a deep breath. The patio was full of clothes and colorful. Yumi told Yu Xiu to pack the clothes quickly, but she walked into the kitchen. Yumi had to personally serve Guo Zuo a bowl of clear soup noodles. No matter what, as a mother, she still has to act like a mother. Yu Xiu made tea for Guo Zuo. Guo Zuo was already sitting in a wicker chair and reading quietly. The book was as thick as a brick. Yu Xiu was in a good mood today, but it became even more special and good now. Suddenly, she returned to the vixen scene. The vixen feels so good. It's been a long time since she felt like this. Although this kind of mood was a bit unexplainable, the happiness was absolutely real and she couldn't hide it from herself. Yu Xiu's mouth stopped singing, but she was singing in her heart. Not just with white opera singing, but also with gongs and drums. No wonder people feel refreshed during happy events. As she was busy going in and out, she glanced at Guo Zuo every time, intentionally or unintentionally. Glanced. She couldn't help it. She couldn't help herself. Guo Zuo obviously noticed Yu Xiu and raised his head to take a look at Yu Xiu. Yu Xiu was standing under the bright sun, already wearing a straw hat. There is Chairman Mao's inscription on the white brim. The world is vast, with a long-to-go list. When Guo Zuo and Yu Xiu looked at each other, Yu Xiu suddenly smiled at Guo Zuo. There was no reason at all, just abstract joy and enthusiasm, particularly empty, but also particularly sincere, as if flowing directly from the pit of her heart. At this time, the sun was just in the west, illuminating the teeth in Yu Xiu's mouth, making them shine, twinkling. Guo Zuo thought this home had already changed beyond recognition. It didn't look like his own home at all. It was full of vitality. When his mother passed away, Guo Zuo was supposed to come back home once to take all the public leave he had accumulated over the years. However, Guo Jiaxing was very busy. The day after his mother passed away, he sent her body to the crematorium. He then wrote a letter to Guo Zuo. It was quite long and contained extremely serious philosophical issues. Guo Jiaxing focused on elaborating thorough materialism and the dialectics of life and death, which were of great theoretical quality. Therefore, Guo Zuo didn't come back. Guo Zuo came back this time not because of a vacation, but because of a work injury. He was hit on the head and suffered a concussion during picket training, so he had no choice but to come back. In the evening, Guo Jiaxing got off work. The father and son looked at each other and nodded. Guo Jiaxing asked 102, and Guo Zuo answered 102, and then they said nothing. Yu Xiu thought the people in his family were really interesting. They are obviously a family, but they all have a comrade-like relationship. Even the greetings were in a hurry, as if they were grasping the revolution and promoting production. Such a father and son are rare.